I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. What a pleasure to be with you here tonight. How does it feel having your premiere here at London Film Festival? It's only the second day as well. It must feel quite special.
Yes, well, London is the birthplace of this film. Like, we came here to see Jeremy for the first time when we got the script. We met the whole team of Jeremy. Jeremy was working for many decades with our Polish producer and director, first and foremost director, Jerzy Komasa. And so, and this film, for the first time, it's coming. It's going to be shown in its home country because it's a British film. It's a Polish-British co-production, and the whole cast is here, except for Stephen Graham, who's shooting, but he's with us in spirit. So,
I mean, funnily enough, I don't know if you know this, there's another Good Boy film that's coming out this week. So just for clarification, can you give us a little bit of the synopsis? What can people expect coming into your Good Boy?
Yeah, so this Good Boy is about a boy who is a bad boy, and he's being kidnapped by this weird, quirky family that has a little secret. It's not a little secret, it turns out to be big. And the family wants him to become a good boy. And the whole film is kind of like a process of rehabilitation. I'm gonna say process. I don't think it's a process. It's just a crazy, weird... I don't even think it's a crazy idea. It's slightly psychotic. But it turns out to be something totally different from where it begins. So that's Good Boy.
And when I was watching it, what I kind of loved about it, I mean, like, it feels like nowadays you watch so many films and you're like, I know what this movie is, or I know where this is going. I did not have this with this movie. I was like, what genre are we in? Where is this going? The twists, the turns, the tonal shifts. Was that part of what you wanted to achieve? Something quite different?
Yeah, that was on paper from the very beginning, and that's probably something that drew me to this film. Not many times in my life, I read a lot of scripts, as you can imagine, so not many times in my life I was surprised every 10 pages this script to become something else than I thought. And then I thought maybe my directorial input would be to, mix this, stir the pot even further and make it more crazy, and not to a point like that's something, by the way, this is something I've never done in my life. This weird genre we have here, the mixture of absurdity, grotesque, they call it dark fable, fairy tale-ishness. I'm more from the dramatic, thrillery world in which everything is bleak, dark, and very Central European. I think we connected here, having this weird sense of humor that sometimes people burst with, I would say, uncomfortable laughter in the film, which is the weirdest thing, but we wanted to obtain it, kind of like, and it's weird, it's a rare beast to work on, honestly. And we poured all the heart we had into it, and here we are. So.
And I was just complimenting Anson on his incredible performance, because there's something, not only does he tap into something, I think as a British millennial, I know this guy. I met this guy. I grew up in Reading, and that's kind of the person you would meet. But he gets it on such a physical level too. It's so committed. How did you know that he was the right person to take on this role? And what was it like working with him?
Well, Anson was one of the first choices sent to us by an amazing casting director, legendary one, Nina Gold. And she said Anson is the guy who's going to play it. And I saw Anson's face, and the surprising thing, obviously, when you look at Anson, is he has this angelic eyes and beautiful face. Now, how can he be a bad boy in a film? You start with it. But then, because the film, he does so many, I don't want to spoil anything, but he does things in the film that kind of justify the choice, because then you don't know what to think about him. And that was the start. And then Anson came. He was fully committed. He's a dream to work with, like a director's dream to work with. He's with you 24/7, fully committed. He would sacrifice everything for the. I was him, because of the chain and the restraint of it. And it's dangerous if you work on a chain. You're playing, you're acting. and if you slip and you go down really quickly, it's over, right? So we had many different chains. Anson obviously was trying to get the best performance he could, so he wanted to use the real chain with the real kind of the whole wire and the whole system. We were like, no, Anson, don't do this. And I was like I was really protective. I hated to, like, sometimes it was too close to the red line for me. But anyway, Anson wanted it to be as physical as possible to make this part more visceral, probably. And I was just supporting him as much as I could. And I opened the door for him. So whatever he felt like doing, as well as Stephen and Andrea and the whole cast, I was urging them to kind of use the playground I created back in Poland, because we were shooting for most of the time in the studio in Warsaw, and use it and just go full on to the fullest, just squeeze it like a lemon, because we're here, we have the camera, let's just play, let's just go for it. So that's how we ended up with what we have on screen, which is a super exciting to me as a director, because I'm kind of exploring what I can do with them and with us. And it was just exciting to discover.
And Andrea Riseborough, Stephen Graham. I mean, you kind of got like the cream of the crop of like British talent. Particularly Stephen. I mean, we sort of seen him play maybe roles that like have elements of this. I mean, he's definitely done sinister, kind of, you know. But this is like a unique role too that we've seen him do. So it's like having Stephen and Andrea to work with too.
From the very beginning, I knew I was working with artists. That was something that pushed us to the limit with what we could do. I mean, not to the limit, but our limits, my limits too. I've never been in this absurdist territory with anything I did. Everything was kind of serious or serious, just very serious. This time we decided to like make it super serious and at the same time have this meta film underneath playing. So ultimately it's about a family that kidnapped the boy, and it's not fun, right? I mean, it's not something you can laugh about or be like try to find any humanity in them, which is weird. But I think that's the beauty of cinema or making movies. You can mix things with things that usually don't go together, and watch the effect, and then it starts to work on you in the weirdest way. And that's so that was Stephen and Andrea was pushing us to do more. So, for example, there's this thing in the film, the wig, hair piece he has. It's his idea, Stephen's idea. He's like, I'm gonna shave my head for this film, only the top of my head. The rest of the hair is mine. Just you need to create this hair piece that will fit, and this is my character. He said it from the very beginning. The thing he did with his body language, same with Andrea. The wig she's wearing, the whole thing, the style of this thing, they look like nothing I was suspecting, or like they look like, I don't know, they're dressed up in the weirdest costumes by amazing Julian Day, great costume designer from Britain. And so we were just, playing with our intuitions and whatever the gut told us to do. And it was a rock and roll movie because we have rock and roll producers. So they let us do it.
And in terms of what you can kind of like read into in the film, this is a part of British culture that we can't deny is there. And perhaps there's also something that is quite current about young lads feeling a bit lost. And, what do you think it wants to say potentially about redemption or rehabilitation, or ways that we can like help people that fall through between the cracks in some ways, even if it's in a kind of metaphorical way?
Yeah, I think, because now when you look around, you obviously have so many privileged people, privileged because they don't have to do a lot in order to become stars and TikTok stars and whatever. So our main character is like a trash bin of everything that's trash in the culture. And it's like if there is a social commentary, maybe it's about living a life in which you can do whatever you want, but nobody cares. And would you be willing to give away a bit of this freedom, a bit, maybe most of it, the freedom, for the sake of being seen and listened to?
Amazing. Thank you so much. Huge congrats on the movie. Really enjoyed tonight, and thanks for your time. Thank you.